Well, good morning. And I am very glad to be back. I have not been able to do or record a video for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, maybe something like that. Normally, it might mean that I'm busy or on a trip, the panhandle or something. But this time was, I wish it was that reason, but I had really high blood pressure. It just spiked for some reason to around 170 over 110, and I was in a bad way for about I don't know, about 3 or 4 days. But luckily, I sought medical help, and I feel much better now. I did My blood pressure is down to normal, so today, fittingly, it's a Monday, so I can get back to what I'd like to do, which is to actively work my business. I'm still here in the United States by myself. My family's still in Russia. It has been over a year now since I've seen them, but I'm not making this video just to cry about it. I'm just letting you know that, work is really the biggest thing that keeps me going right now. And I really am excited about how things are going. But what I wanted to do was just be completely transparent with everybody. And there's a I guess it's a tendency in the anybody who's trying to sell something, or at least establish their brand. A lot of people want to make out that they're infallible, that they are, oh wow, this guy knows everything. Everything he does touches everything he touches turns to gold, that type of thing. But I really wanted to once again reiterate the fact that I'm a street investor. And what does that mean? That means that I don't teach anybody what I don't do myself. And it also means that, if I mess up, I'm going to tell you about it. And I'm going to, hopefully this will show you, not to make the same mistakes that I made. And that also, even though I've been doing this for 18 years plus, just shows you that, you can still make mistakes no matter how experienced you are, and how many successes you've had. So I'm going to get right down to that right now, which is basically, I really I made some poor decisions about a rehab that or an equity deal that I got up in Pensacola. And I want to go over it with you again to just you know confess. I'm going to confessional here, and hopefully you guys will appreciate that. You have to have, it's eternal diligence, as they say. You have to, Reagan said about the Soviet Union back in the 80s, trust but verify, right? Well, I got a little bit too complacent and paid the price for it. So let's just jump into it right now. So here's the background on it. I called a woman in who's in foreclosure. Her house is in Pensacola. She had moved to Illinois. She's an elderly woman. She's in her 80s, and we talked. And she was a very sad situation, but it's unfortunately happens a lot here in Florida. She had a property that she had a renter in, and he stopped paying the rent. He was, the place was a mess. And she was in Illinois, like I said. And she had some money, and she was able to go ahead and evict him. And she evicted him from the property, but she wasn't able to get down there to do anything to secure the property. And he knew that she was in that situation. So he just basically broke in and started squatting. And she had already spent her money on the first eviction. And she didn't know that he was in there. I guess she never followed up. And the way the rules are in Florida about squatting and evictions is that once someone establishes residency, they if you let's put it this way. if you uh, if a squatter tries to get into your house, and if you have neighbors who are very diligent and they call the cops or whatever, they call the homeowner, then if they haven't established residency yet, then they are trespassers, and they can be kicked out and arrested if you decide to press charges. The problem is that if you don't catch it immediately, then it becomes a civil matter, and law enforcement will tell you that there's nothing they can do about it. And that's what happened here, is that I think almost a month went by, and he'd already put the utilities back in his name. And, she was stuck again, where she would have to go back and re-evict him. And she didn't have any money. So she just threw her hands up and said, that I'm in a situation where I can't do anything. And she couldn't, without the rent money, she couldn't pay the mortgage, and so then it went into foreclosure. So that was the situation when I called her back in September. And I told her that I have a lot of experience doing this and then I could certainly get the guy out. The problem for her was that, um, you know, well, I mean, it wasn't a problem, I guess, but I mean, she had a lot of equity, and it's just unfortunate that she could have made a lot of more money on than she did. But actually, in the long run, she probably made she ended up making more money than I did on the deal. So, oh well, turned out okay. But my point is that it's for those of you who don't know, I'm in Orlando, or I'm in Altamont Springs, which is a suburb of Orlando, and this house is in Pensacola, and Pensacola is about 6 hours away. It's a long haul, and plus there's a squatter there, like I said, so it was a little bit you know dicey to how was I going to handle this, and I was thinking to myself, well, do I really want to take this on, being so far away? So I tried to do it on the cheap. I tried to cut some corners, and I basically didn't do any due diligence at all, which was a big, big problem. I shouldn't have done that, but again, don't shoot on myself, right? That's what I'm doing here. But just let you know, that's where I let my guard down. And normally I'm very, very rigid on how I do my deals, and I want to see them myself. And those of you who follow me, uh, in my Facebook group, or if you've been watching these videos, you know that I'm very, very strict about making sure that I want to see the houses and I want to inspect them. This one I didn't inspect. In fact, I didn't even see the house until a week or two before closing, and you know, that's why you lose money, because you don't keep following your rules if you have them, which I do. So I had a local guy. He's a referral partner who referred me a couple of deals, and he's from Pensacola, and I asked him to go there. Now I had previously the previous owner, she had given me the phone number for the squatter, and I had reached out to him, and I did what I normally do, which is in a squatter situation, as I tell them, look, I have $2,000 budgeted to get you out. Now I can do one of two things. I can pay that to an attorney, and the attorney can get you gone, or I can pay it directly to you. And then that way you don't have an eviction on your record, and you get some money in your pocket, and you've been living here for free all this time anyway, so you're going to make out like a bandit. I don't really care. That money's already been distributed as far as I'm concerned. I know where it's going to go. So it's up to you. Now he said yes, but could have given me some time, because he needed time to find a place, and so on and so forth. So I said no problem. This was like mid-September, and so I said you have to be out by the end of December, and if you don't get out by the end of December, then I'm going to evict you. And I said, but you need to be able to show the property. I want you to show the property to whoever needs to see it. And he agreed to that. And so on the basis of that, and I asked my referral partner to go over there and look at it, and he says, yeah, it's in decent shape. It's not bad. And he sent me some outside pictures. He didn't really send me anything from the inside because the guy had dogs and he wasn't comfortable going in there. But he says, no, from what I can see, it looks fine. Uh-huh. Okay. So on the basis of that, I made the offer to her that I would pay her a certain amount of money. I believe it was like almost $18,000, because she didn't owe a huge amount on the mortgage. I think, and I asked my real estate, my broker, I said, what do you think? And she says, well, if it's in decent shape, you should be able to get, 140 to 150 easily. So I felt like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to do what I normally do, which, well, in this situation, you know, show it for the way it is with someone in there, and then before closing, we would get the guy out and clean it up, and make sure that everybody was happy with the condition of the property, and I could not really do that much. Well, closed with the woman. I sent her. I had a mobile notary that went up there and went to. Well, I contracted with a local notary, and she just sent me a quick claim deed, and I email or wire transferred her funds, and then recorded the deed and so on and so forth. And the tenant was the squatter was cooperative, and we showed the property, but we kept getting rejected and rejected and rejected, and we had to lower our price. And then finally, we were not even close to 140. Actually, we got under contract a number of times at 120, 115, but every time it would not pass inspection. Now I was not going for a finance deal. I knew it wasn't going to be a finance deal. I don't like finance deals anyway. So it was going to be a cash deal. But, I was thinking, well, 120, I still do really, really well. Well, unfortunately, I had to settle for I think it was 103, I believe. Anyway, here's the HUD. I'm gonna share my screen here, and I'll show you the HUD. Um, Hold on a second. Um, I'm sorry, that's not the right one. Anyway, let me stop my share. Apologize for that. Um, Let me share my screen here, see if this comes up. Yep, here we go, right here. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. All right, so this is the place here. Yeah, I was the contract price was 103.77 750. So that was, what was that, about $47,000, 42,000 and change, less than what I hoped for. So as you can see, I didn't lose any money, but it still wasn't great. So by the time so we go down here and see what the payoff was 70,000 149.13. That's how much because I mean, obviously it was accruing. Every missed payment meant more money that was going to be out of my pocket. So I thought I was going to flip this in about 30 to 60 days. It took me almost 4 months to get it flipped. So that was more money out of my pocket that I didn't get. So you can see here the cash to seller was 24,959. And normally you would think, well, that's still a pretty good deal, but I had paid the woman the money to get her gone. I had to pay my investor 10%. So actually, I made about $6,000 on this deal. So she made out like a bandit and I didn't. But that's what happens because I didn't. I'll go ahead and stop my share. But that's what I didn't realize was that there was mold in the property. The wiring was was out of date and had to be replaced. And also, it's stupid was the fact that I didn't realize that the water was not on, that the water pipe, I guess a tree root had broken the water pipe underneath the house, and he had not, and so you couldn't have water in there yet. That's huge. It's a huge repair as well. And he was just bringing water in and jugs of water in to use electricity work, but and of course there was no flooring in there at all, and it was just, again, if I had gone in there and done all my due diligence, I would have offered a lady maybe a 3 grand or something, and just I would have had my ammunition in place to justify why she should not get $18,000 or 17 and change, whatever it was. So that's I paid the price because I got lazy and I didn't want to drive up there. And that's really what it was. I just said, you know what, I should be fine. I'm going to trust that it's okay. And then it was the worst possible scenario. The one house that you want to make sure you do do your due diligence and do inspections and so forth. That's the one I didn't do. And normally I'm very diligent about that. But you know what? This is why I made a mistake and lost a lot of money on it. So um, do I feel bad about it? Yeah, but I didn't lose any money, so that's good. But that's a lot of money that I could have made, and I spent a lot of time dealing with this stupid squatter, and and that's this thing. I had to go up there anyway. I ended up having to go up there anyway to get him out because he wasn't leaving on his own. I had contracted with a local realtor to deliver papers and change locks and so forth, and I still had to drive up there. So I should have just gone up there to begin with, right? So that's my should have. I'm shitting on myself right now, but that's just basically what happened. That's a case study. So always do your due diligence, always, before you close on a property and hand out a check. And that's my confession. And I'm asking for penance, asking for forgiveness. And I guarantee you, it's going to be a long time before I make that mistake again in my real estate career. But that's why I like short sales. Short sales are easier. Short sales are much easier than these kind of deals sometimes. But anyway, that's for another day. So thanks again for for your attention. I always like doing these videos. Hopefully, they're helping you somewhat. And I'll be ready for a video tomorrow. Thanks a lot.